Good morning all. Today's topic of discussion is application specific integrated circuits part 5. Objective of this lecture is to make the students familiarize with ASIC design flow steps after place and route. What happens after place and route? After the detailed routing is completed, the exact length and position of each interconnect for every net is known, and now the parasitic capacitance and resistance associated with each interconnect via and a contact can be calculated. This data is generated by a circuit extraction tool in one of the formats which we will be discussing afterwards. So it is important to extract the parasitic values that will be on the silicon wafer. The mask data or the CIF widths and dimensions that are drawn in the logic cell are not necessarily the same as the final silicon dimensions. So normally the mask dimensions are altered from drawn values to allow for process bias or the other effects that occur during the transfer of pattern from mask to silicon. Since this is a problem that is dealt with by the ASIC vendor and not the design software vendors, so ASIC designers normally have to ask very carefully about the details of this problem. The standard parasitic formats, that is SPF, describes the interconnect delay and the loading due to the parasitic resistance and capacitance. And there are three different forms of this SPF, that is the standard parasitic format, which contains the information in different formats and the model of the behavior of interconnect. And there are such three formats. The third format describes the actual parasitic resistance and capacitance components of the net. So one by one we will see what happens after the place and route. So logic, after the first step is logic synthesis, which we studied earlier, in which the CAD tool will be provided with the different inputs like the netlist, then the standard cell and the timing constraints. After that the design will be given to the placement and routing. So initially the floor planning will be done, the blocks will be placed, global routes will be prepared, then detailed routing will be done, which is the iterative process. And once the design is finalized, what will happen after placement and routing? So there are various steps which will be parallelly happening. The formal verification, layout or parasitic extraction, and then the DRC, ERC and LVS, that is the design rule check, electrical rule check, and then the layout versus schematic. All these checks will be done, and then the static timing analysis will be performed, and finally the mask will be generated. So one by one we will see all the steps. So first we will go for this formal verification. Now the standard cells have been added to the design through the timing optimization and the clock tree synthesis. So the final netlist created by the CAD tool needs to be compared to the original gate level netlist. The formal verification ensures the functional equivalency at the logic level between the two implementations, original versus the final of the design. The intended function was maintained throughout the physical design process or not, that is checked. Then next comes, after the formal verification, it comes the timing verification. The CAD tool performs the layout parasitic extraction of the resistance and capacitances of all the routes in the design. results in a format such as SPEF, that is the standard parasitic extended format, just now we have discussed. SPEF is a smaller extended format of standard parasitic format SPF, which enables the transfer of design specific resistances and capacitances from the physical design to the timing analysis and simulation tools. Next comes the static timing analysis. Detects the timing violations by combining SPEF and the netlist and checks against the design timing constraints, that is the clock frequencies. Next comes the physical verification. Checks the design for fabrication feasibility and the physical defects that could result in the design to not function properly. So 3 checks are done: design rule check, electrical rule check, and layout versus schematic check. So what is this DRC? That is design rule check. Verifies that design does not violate any fabrication rules associated with the target process technology, that is the different metal width, metal spaces, the antenna ratios, etc. Then comes the electrical rule check, that is ERC. Verifies that there are no short or open circuits with power and ground, as well as the resistors, capacitors, transistors with the floating nodes. Then comes the layout versus schematic, that is LVS. The final physical design matches the logical version in terms of the correct connectivity and the number of electrical devices. So we'll see the details of this ERC, DRC and LVS. So first we'll go for this electrical rule check. The example of this ERC is the floating metal or the poly, the different antenna rules, shorted drain and source of a MOS, no substrate or the well contact, the different contacts of the substrate or well are connected to the different nets. So no automatic connection of these nets to avoid the circuit parts which are only connected via substrate, which can be fatal. Distance of MOS to the next substrate or well contact too large to check the latch up rule. So after ERC, so what is the difference between DRC and ERC? So it is soft. DRC must sometimes understand the circuit, that is the design rule check. So logically also the design should be correct. Next comes the technology file. The technology file is provided by the technology vendor, and it adapts the CAD tool. It defines the colors, layers, etc. Create the menu and commands, like create the contact. Then define the width, spacing. Provide parameterized cell for the MOS. It contains the information of DRC rules, ERC rules, extraction rules, LVS rules. And the example of this technology file is point-at micrometer technology. So generally when we use some layout tools like Microwind or some other software, the backend tools. So for that generally we have to choose the technology file first for creating the project, and then we can start preparing our layouts. So the point-at micrometer is the technology, suppose. So in that technology, which different rules are to be checked or followed while preparing the layouts. So that information is available in this technology file, which contains the design rule check, electrical rule check, extraction rules, and the LVS, that is the layout versus schematic rules. So what this LVS does, layout versus schematic, 3 steps are there. Extract the schematic netlist. So travel down the hierarchy until a view is in the stop list. For instance, we can keep an inverter as a cell and not resolve it into the MOS. So we'll stop at that inverter level and ignore the symbols, for instance, in the analog library. Then extract the layout netlist. So as it has to check the schematic and the layout, so it will check the netlist file for schematic as well as the layout. Then compare the two netlists. So devices and nets without labels often have different names. So it is a difficult task. So it will require a one-to-one matching. So in reality, allow certain topological differences. In order of serial connected resistors does not matter. 2 serial resistors are equivalent to 1 with the sum resistivity, like this. So if R1 and R2 they are connected in series, then R1 plus R2 is equivalent to that. Then the layout extraction. The extraction must find the devices and get the parameters, the geometric parameters of the devices. Like for the MOS transistor, what is W, what is L, and as per that it will extract the information regarding the layout, and it will start preparing the netlist file for this layout. And there will be a one-to-one matching, like we have a schematic and the netlist of the schematic in the upper portion, and then we have a layout and the netlist of the layout. So these two files, that is the schematic netlist and the layout netlist, they will be checked on a one-to-one basis, and it is matched so that this LVS process will be completed. So this is how it will be checked on a one-to-one basis. So what permutations are allowed in this LVS? So are 2 serial MOS with the same W, that is the width. So W by L1, W by L2. So equivalent of the single MOS with L is equal to L1 plus L2. Is it okay to swap the order of serial MOS? So this is required to simplify the LVS of CMOS gate. The 2 inputs are logically equivalent but topologically different. So this is dangerous in a tri-state logic or a dynamic logic. Then how much tolerance is allowed in W, L and R? Should the serial capacitors be replaced by 1 by C sum is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2? So these subtle things are defined in the comparison rules. Once all these checks are done, the next step is fabrication. The physical design process is complete upon successful completion of timing, functional and physical verification. The design can be taped out and the GDS2 created for the manufacturer. So GDS2, that is the Graphic Design System 2, is a binary format containing the physical geometry information of the design. The shapes are assigned numeric attributes in the form of layer number and the data type, that is metal 1 equivalent to 100 as to 0. So layer number and then the data type, that information is there. Fabrication and test determine which chip can be implemented into the system. And this GDS2 file can be given to the foundry for the fabrication purpose. So we have studied the details of this EDA tools. So we'll just have a summary. The IC production experienced huge growth since 1960. The exponential decrease in the transistor size, cost per transistor, and the power per transistor resulted into that. The IC design is impossible without simplification and automation. So row based standard cell layout with the design rules is mostly used. Traditionally, each step in the VLSI design flow has been automated separately by the software CAD tools. The software tools use sophisticated algorithms. Many problems in the physical design are hard solved by some heuristic algorithm that find near optimal solutions. And deterministic versus stochastic algorithms are also used. Constructive algorithms versus iterative improvements are done. The graph algorithms deal with the circuit connectivity, and the computational geometry deals with the circuit layout. Thank you.